the WDWL TV Multi-Plex breaking news studio. We bring you the pride of the station, the Two Grumpies, starring the grumpy old man. Oh, that would be me. And, the grumpy vulture. Take your bow. Oh, very nice, very nice, very nice. Good job, good job. Now, that was so good. Now you're going to be even better by going back in your corner. Oh, the camera will see you. Don't worry. Yeah, look there. There you go. Turn, see the camera. Well, friends, as we continue the tour of the new studios in the WDWL TV Multiplex, we bring you the latest completed studio, the Breaking News Live studio. Yes. Breaking News Live. We are one of the few multiplex stations that has now a dedicated Breaking News Live studio, which will be manned 24 hours a day by a reporter. Yes. No more, seeing the studio from the 6 o'clock news or the 11 o'clock news. Corporate has built a special studio for breaking news. And there it is. Look at the size of that screen. I can't wait to see when they actually put something up besides the logo. But Grumpy gets to, I get to unveil it. Yes, this is the debut. I get to unveil the new studio. And believe it or not, they're in construction of one more studio. We thought this was going to be the last one. Oh no, they're building another one. This multiplex is going to have like 10 different studios in it. We're getting to be like Rockefeller Centers. Well, maybe, somewhat. Okay, we're not even close to Rockefeller Center, but we can dream. Rockefeller Center, I don't think, has a sound stage like we have, especially with that highly polished stage floor that the CEO immediately slipped and fell on his ass on today. Oh, Grumpy succeeded in what he wanted to do. Oh, it was so hard to stop fucking laughing. Well, I didn't let him see me laughing, but as soon as I saw the feet go out from under him, he looked like an old lady falling in a puddle. Whip, bump. Then I ducked behind the curtain and laughed my ass off. Yep. The Johnson paste wax did its job, along with that big 14-inch buffer that almost took off with Grumpy. So, the sound stage was unveiled, was a huge success. Then, I no sooner finished buffing the sound stage. And, we had made mention that maybe we'll have, a band in now and then, or a vocalist. Get this. One of the custodians plays saxophone. in a polka band. He gets up on the stage and he was playing Who Stole the Kishka all by himself. He felt like a big shit, a shot. It was hilarious. One saxophonist going, who stole the Kishka? Who stole the Kishka? He would have made Frankie Yankovic proud. Yeah, you can actually tell what kind of employees we have here when one of our maintenance guys plays saxophone in a polka band. Polka bands are like dinosaurs. Almost like bowling leagues. Oh, I'll hear it from the bowlers now. But you hardly hear about bowling anymore. Back in the day when I was growing up, Jesus Christ, it seemed like everybody bowled. My father was on 3 leagues alone. And then I was on 2. And then, I don't know, bowling seemed to fall by the wayside. You don't even see the bowling tournaments on regular broadcast TV anymore. They're buried on some fucking cable channel. Oh, yeah. When the PBA would have a tournament, it would be on 3 or 5 or 8, NBC, ABC, CBS. I haven't seen a bowling tournament in years. They're probably buried on CNN or something like that. But yeah, you used to. It was a big, especially when it was televised. My father was like my grandmother. Oh, don't you fucking breathe during a bowling tournament. Oh, heaven forbid. So, what do you think of the new studio? Leave comments on my faceplant page. I think it's kind of cool. Especially that big curved screen that's behind me now. Well, I won't be, very rarely are they going to let me do, breaking news story, but they were at least generous enough in corporate to say, okay, you can debut the new studio. I was like, hey, thank you. Wait till the CEO finds out I was laughing when he fell on his ass on the stage. But yes, we have one more studio under construction. And as soon as it's completed, I've been promised I can unveil it. I'm still working on plans for the first annual Grumpy and the Vulture New Year's Eve show. Yeah. I would appreciate suggestions. Anybody that's got a suggestion, put it on my face plant in my comment section. That's the only place you can comment. Pardon me while I have a little sip of Green Mountain dark granite. And then Grumpy got an email from a close friend who discovered, well, it wasn't hard to discover, that I have a Coric pod machine. So he told me, watch out for your mail. I sent you a pod Christmas gift. Oh boy! More pod coffee. Yay! What's going on with my tablet here? Hang on, let me check something. Maybe it's a breaking news story. Nope. No breaking news story. A commercial. Gotta get commercials everywhere. You get them on TV, I get them on YouTube, now I'm getting them on my fucking tablet. Jesus Christ. Never a dull moment. Let me make a little... The mic didn't sound right. Do I have the, maybe a little bump up for the headphones? Does it sound, oh, it sounds good now. Yeah, it needed that little bump. One little notch. I get it in my headphones. What I'm saying to you goes through the headphones. The major problem is, I don't know what the volume is like after it basically leaves the microphone. This volume control is basically the volume control for my headphones, not the volume control for the audio that goes on the stream. So there's a lot of times I don't know what the volume level is until I do a playback. And then there's sometimes like, oh, Jesus, I should have turned it down or should have turned it up. I'm using the Ghost. I really like the Ghost, especially when I have it here in multicolor changing. Although, I'll tell you what, I am really impressed with that Amplitank. Yeah, that is one outstanding microphone. That's why I decided to alternate, because both of these are really wonderful microphones. Now, not saying that my Blue Yetis are going to get pushed to the side. No. I still like my Blue Yetis, mainly my Blue Yeti X, but these are just outstanding. They're professional studio quality mics, basically crammed into a podcaster affordable microphone. A microphone like this, professional level, would be well over $1,000. So, when you get this kind of technology for under $150, hey, as a matter of fact, I saw this on a electronics website on a Black Friday special for $89.95. So that was like I think about a $40 or $45 reduction in price. So I would say, grab it. The only problem is I can't remember what I think it might have been Sweetwater. I'm not positive. Although I'll tell you what, anybody that is looking to get themselves started on YouTube, go on sweetwater.com, and the array of microphones and equipment is unbelievable. That company carries everything. You can get a complete, I'll call it a podcasting setup, for like around $200. And that's microphone, mic stand, cables, that big ugly split screen, and some other accessories. You order one site, everything you need, bang. They ship it to you. You set it up and you're podcasting. Hey, you're a YouTuber. Although you don't need all this stuff for YouTube. You know, you could basically just use a laptop, and I would suggest an external microphone because usually the microphones in laptops suck. But they got built-in cameras. Get yourself an external mic, plug it in. There you go. Set yourself up a useless tube channel and you can be a podcaster on the go. Like Grumpy is going to be. Yes, I'm going to set myself up with a mobile YouTube streaming setup. I've got the laptop on charge. Tomorrow I will show you my plans for my mobile Grumpy on the go. That's what I'm going to call it. When I become mobile, it's going to be Grumpy on the go. It's going to almost be like, God, what was that? We had a guy on Channel 8 that used to travel all over Ohio and Pennsylvania and Indiana and always found points of interest, you know, like a cheese factory or whatever. Trying to think what the hell he called his. Oh, well, I'll look it up tomorrow. But yeah, he would travel all over Ohio, Pennsylvania, Indiana, you know, Kentucky, points of interest. One tank trips. That's what, one tank trips. And he would map out, like going to a cheese factory in southern Ohio. And you could basically do it on one tank of gas. That's what he called it, one tank trips. Now maybe it was one tank down and one tank back. But some of the places I didn't know existed in Ohio. Now I knew we had cheese places. There used to be one down in West Salem. Back when I was a kid, my aunt lived in Galion, Ohio, and we would go down to visit. And on the way back, we would stop in West Salem at this cheese place. And they had a wheel of Swiss cheese. Their specialty was Swiss cheese. This wheel of Swiss cheese couldn't fit in the trunk of a car. It was that huge. And you would go in and you say, oh, give me a pound of Swiss. And they would cut a chunk off this big, huge wheel of Swiss cheese. Now, they made other cheeses, but they specialized in Swiss. And what we would do on the way back, we would get a couple pounds of Swiss. And my father would always say, can you chunk it up like in strips? And then we'd get a loaf of bread, and you'd take a chunk of cheese and a slice of bread, and we'd eat it on the way home. You know, kids today would be like, you fucking what? You ate a chunk of Swiss cheese and a slice of white bread, and you thought you were big shit. Well, back in the day, yes. Because as you were eating that cheese, you were envisioning that big, huge wheel that they cut it out of. Oh, it was fucking huge. Well, maybe it wasn't that big. Being a little kid, oh no, it was huge. They had other things. It was like a little mom and pop store, but they specialized in making. Oh, they call it Ohio Swiss. Kind of catchy name. Made in Ohio. It's Swiss cheese. What are we gonna call it? Oh, Chester. Good idea. Ohio Swiss. Hey. And they won a ton of awards. Their awards were all over the wall. I wish I could remember what the name of it was. Although by now it's probably doesn't even exist anymore. Because you got to figure I was 8, 10, 12 years old back then. I thought the name, no. I was thinking Yoder's. I know where Yoder's is. It wasn't Yoder's. This was down in West Salem. Not far from the old Dragway 42. Yeah, there was a drag strip down there. Dragway 42. I'm trying to think what the... Oh, the big one was Thompson. Thompson Drag Raceway. Now it's Summit Racing. They bought the track. I wish they would have left it Thompson. One of these days, I will find the ad that they used to run for Thompson Drag Race. Oh, it was hilarious. There would be a guy in the background just yelling, Sunday! And then the voiceover would be at beautiful Thompson Drag Raceway, the drag race capital of Mid-America. And this one guy in the background kept yelling, Sunday! I guess you knew racing was on Sunday. But yeah, I know it's on YouTube. I'll find it. And then I'll download it into the tablet, and then I'll play it. I'll probably get copyright struck, but yeah. If they had racing, like Saturday, this guy'd be yelling in the background. And then while he's yelling Saturday or Sunday, the voiceover would be at beautiful Thompson Drag Raceway, the drag racing capital of Mid-America. I don't know if it was, but at that time maybe. And we had Thompson and we had Dragway 42. Well, Dragway 42 went by the wayside. And then Thompson got bought out by Summit Racing. So they call it Summit Drag Raceway. Good, advertisement for their store, Summit Racing. But yeah, the old Thompson Drag Raceway commercials were fucking hilarious. Especially with the guy yelling in the background, Sunday! And he just kept doing it over and over and over while the guy was talking and explaining what race was going to happen, I'm surprised at the end of the commercial he had a voice. Because he used to scream at the top of his lungs, Sunday! Everybody's like, oh, grumpy, you're losing your fucking mind. No, it was on the radio. And it's on YouTube. Somebody saved it. It's on YouTube. I will download it into my tablet, and I will play it. because we used to hear it on the radio all the time. The big commercial for Thompson Drag Raceway, drag racing capital of Mid-America. I don't know if it was. Maybe. They didn't have that many big name drag strips back in the day. I know since Summit took it over, they really made they spent some money improving that track. And they get the big names in drag racing. I mean, it's one of the stops on the drag racing tour. So I haven't been out since they remodeled it. But everybody tells me that Summit spent a gazillion dollars remodernizing the track. Matter of fact, I think they dug up the old track and laid down a new foundation and brand new pavement. They lengthened it so that they could bring in like the rocket cars and that. Yeah, Summit spent some big bucks on Thompson Drag Raceway. But the old poor Dragway 42 just went into oblivion. Now that one, my parents would stop at. If there was a drag race going on, when we were coming back from visiting my aunt, we would stop, watch the drag races, hit the cheese shop and get some good Swiss cheese, and then motor home on Route 42. That's why it was called Dragway 42. It was on Route 42. Before, the days of freeways, when you took back roads and it was a scenic trip and you enjoyed, seeing the country and everything. Freeways have ruined the old scenic travel, the old back road travel. That was the nice thing about One Tank Trips. He did a lot of back road traveling where you saw some really great scenery and, some quaint little towns that we have here in Ohio. That's another amazing thing. We do still have some quaint little towns that, modern society didn't ruin them. I'm trying to think. There was one that was right on the top of my mind. I used to love to go through. I'll think of it. Matter of fact, there's a state park not that far from this little town where you could go camping. God, I used to camp there, and Grumpy must have old timers. I can't remember the name of the state park and the town that we used to drive through to get to the state park. It was a quaint little, because the amazing thing was, I remember, and we're talking, this has got to be back in the 70s, mid-70s. I was camping with friends at the state park, and I needed an attachment for my propane grill. I lost it. And I went into town. And I'm walking, over to the hardware store. And people are like, hi, how are ya? Hi, how are ya? You know, they didn't know me from Adam. Everybody said hello to one another in that town, whether you were a stranger or not. I remember a guy was like, hey, how are ya? I'm thinking to myself, do I fucking know him? No, it was just, as a matter of fact, I remember when I was in the hardware store. And I told the guy, I says, oh, guy, I says, I was all set to, set my propane grill up and I lost this damn connector. And he had one. And he goes, here. I said, what do I owe you? Oh, it's on us. Just tell the people in the state park if they need something, come to Fred's Hardware or whatever. Yeah, he gave me the part for free. Didn't know me from Adam. That's how friendly this town was. And oh, did they have a bakery? Oh my God. I went in and I was just admiring the baked goods. And I like bran muffins. They had the best fucking bran muffins I ever tasted in my life. Oh, they were out of this world and huge. And at that time, cheap. And the woman told me, I told her, I said, oh, bran muffins, She fixed me up, I don't know, I got half a dozen of them. She said, oh, you're going to enjoy them. My grandmother makes them. I said, really? Yeah, she goes, Grandma's 94, comes in every day and tends to the back of the bakery. I was like, wow. I said, evidently these bran muffins really keep you going. Yeah, she said her grandmother was 94 years old, came in every single morning like at 3 o'clock in the morning to start baking for the day. And you could tell every item in that bakery was handmade. No commercial delivery, no Hostess Twinkies. It was basically Grandma's Twinkies. But yeah, I wish I could remember the name. Oh, it drives me crazy. I can picture it too. I can picture the main crossroads through the center of town. It sucks to get old, people. Of course, I haven't talked about this little town in eons. But you would think I would remember it. Especially camping at the state park. Wellington. That's it. Wellington. The city of Wellington. Or Township Wellington or whatever. Wellington. What a quaint little town it was. Route 57, I think, is one of the routes that went through the town. Yeah, Route 57, Wellington. Because it was Wellington State Park. Hey, Grumpy doesn't have old timers after all. I knew, but yeah, I'm going to have to take a trip next summer and see if it's still as quaint as it was back in the 70s. Oh, I hope technology and, the big city life hasn't ruined that place. Because it was just, and like I say, the friendliest little town I ever been in. because I parked off of Public Square, their Public Square. It was like a little square. And I walked to the hardware store, and everybody I passed said, "Hey, good morning, how are ya? I'm like, hey. If it wasn't that I was working for the county at the time, I would have actually loved to have moved there. Because it was just that neat, like Andy Mayberry. In a way, it reminded me of Mayberry. I don't know if they had Otis the Town Drunk, but yeah. Oh, it was the friendliest little place. Wellington, yeah, Wellington, Ohio. I'll have to gargle it and see if it still has the quaintness. Like I say, I would hate it if it, modern society encroached and ruined it. Because you just don't find Mayberries every day. But that's what it reminded me of, Mayberry. Be nice if the bakery was still going. Oh, the bran muffins were like the size of bowling balls. But oh, were they delicious. Oh my God. And they made their own donuts. The fry cakes. Oh, I love fry cakes. They were huge. Everything was them. Of course, that muffin today would probably be like $5 a piece. But oh, yeah. We stayed, I think you could stay at Wellington State Park a week. It was free. But I think you could only stay a week. And I went down there for a week's vacation. And every morning, I would drive into town and hit the bakery and get some of them nice, fresh, baked bran muffins. And I remember the last day I was there, we had packed up to leave. No, we were getting ready to pack up. And I went into town and I was going to get some fry cakes. And Grandma come out from the back with nice, fresh, warm pecan pies that she had just made. I was like, oh, cancel the bran muffins. I'll take one of them pies. And they put it in the box. And she told me, put a towel under the box. It's still hot. And it was, right out of the fucking oven. How fresh can you get bakery? And the bread, oh, Grandma made a sourdough that was to die for. And I don't understand the complexity of sourdough, but you have something called a starter. And it's kept in a jar. And you have to keep the starter going because it activates the dough for the bread that you're going to make that day. And Grandma had said that starter was like her great-grandmother's. That's how, and you kept it going. You had to keep that starter going in that jar. It was almost like yeast. But yeah, I remember she brought that jar out and she goes, this was my great-grandmother's. And Grandma was 94. How old was that starter? But it was something that they developed out in the Old West. Because that's basically where sourdough bread came from. But yeah, I remember Grandma bragging about her sourdough bread, and then she'd come out with the starter. She'd go, oh, this was my great-grandmother's. I was like, wow. But if you don't keep it going, it craps out, I guess. I don't understand sourdough starter. But yeah, you have to keep it going. I'll have to gargle it. But for it to be her great-grandmother's starter, and Grandma being 94 at the time, I would hope the family continued the tradition. Just for the sourdough starter, you know, and to make sourdough bread. Yeah, I had some good times back in the day when I had my camper. It was a tow along. I would have loved a little small motorhome. Matter of fact, I would love one today, but not the new one. Years back, U-Haul had a deal with Toyota. And Toyota built these mini motorhomes. Every now and then I'll see one. They're still around. Mainly because they had engines you couldn't kill. But U-Haul used to rent them. You could rent a mini motorhome for a week or 2 weeks or whatever. And I almost had one. I could kick myself. A woman I worked with, her neighbor had one. He bought it, and he never used it. And he had it up for sale. And I says to him, I really want that motorhome. He said, well, it's X dollars. I think like $400 he wanted for it. First person to put the money in my hand gets it. I says, I'll be back in the morning. Guaranteed. I said, you want a deposit? He goes, no. First person to put $400 in my hand. As I was pulling down the street, I see it pulling out of the driveway. I missed it by that much. One of his drinking buddies bought it. And the thing that pissed me off was this guy had been wavering back and forth. Yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. For about 2 months. And then it figures. I decide to buy it. He shows up before me. But yeah. And it was one of the few with a manual, because a lot of them were automatics. This one was a manual transmission motorhome. But like I say, it was back in the late 70s, early 80s that Toyota made these for U-Haul. And every now and then I'll see one. You can't miss it because a lot of people, all they did was painted over the U-Haul emblems, and you can't miss that U-Haul orange and cream and that goofy color scheme. Matter of fact, I saw one, I was like in September or October. I was going up to the store, and I was like, whoa! I drove around the block, and I was looking at it, and I said to the guy, you want to sell it? And he goes, oh, no. He goes, I've had it for years. He says, it never broke down on me. So I said to him, hey, here's my name and number. If you ever sell it, call me. I'm still waiting for that phone call. Because I guarantee it's still running. Yeah, well, the motor was like a Toyota, the code was like a 22R or a 23R engine. As a matter of fact, that straight six was so good, they quit making it because the engine never failed. And Toyota was like, oh, hey, we can't have this. You know, we got to have it break down sooner or later. But yeah, it was a bulletproof motor. I want to say a 22R, but don't quote me. I'll look it up. Everybody said, every auto magazine, every Toyota mechanic you ever talked to said that motor was bulletproof. You basically couldn't destroy it unless you ran it out of oil or water. But yeah, and it was in the motor homes. It was in the T100. Yeah, Toyota had a full-size pickup. It was called the T100. And they wanted to build a bigger version, like a half-ton or a three-quarter ton. And they wanted to call it the T150. And Ford sued them. They sued Toyota and they said, hey, we let you get away with the T100 name because Ford had the F100 at the time. And then they did away with the F100 model, which was their baseline, real cheapy strip out. And they went to the F150. And Toyota wanted to have a T150. And they said, no, that's too close to our copyrighted. And that's how Toyota came up with the name Tundra, because they couldn't use the number designation. Yeah, some interesting auto history for you there, whether you want to hear it or not. I was watching some shoplifting videos today, more from Walmart, except the ones I was watching today were employee theft. The last one I watched was a girl that stole $1,000 worth of snacks in one day. $1,000 worth of snacks in one day. Now, she'd been stealing for a while, but that day, $1,000 worth of, can you imagine $1,000 worth of chips and cookies and hot dogs and whatever? Yeah. She was skip scanning a whole shitload of stuff and got caught. Well, I guess Walmart had enough of her, you know. She started out $10, $25, $100, one day $200, and then she went berserk. $1,000 worth of snacks in one day. And it wasn't bad enough. She stole while she was working. When she got off, she went shopping again and skip scanned a whole bunch of shit after work. Now, I don't know what Walmart pays an hour. But you know, to risk a job, why would you be that greedy to risk your job to steal from your employer? Now, I know Walmart, like today, they make it easy today. You know, they got 47 registers. 45 of them are self-checkout. So it kind of invites theft. But when you're working there, of course, you know the ins and outs. You know the way to scheme. Because when they had her back and they were grilling her, they asked her how long she'd been stealing. And she told them about 8 months. She worked there 9. But they didn't catch her until the end of the 8th month. She said, oh yeah, I've been, but you know, it was a couple dollars here and a couple dollars there. Like she'd steal her lunch every day. And then when she got away with that, of course, we get greedy and we start stealing more and more and more. But $1,000 worth of snacks. No clothing. No, none of that. Snacks. Oy vey. Oh, unbelievable. I think. Oh, no, we don't want that. No, 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 no. No, no. This tablet sometimes is faster than I am. No, we want our outro music. We're gonna close down the debut of the new Breaking News Live studio with our favorite And with that, friends, Grumpy and his sidekick. I hate this camera. Vulture, his sidekick, the Grumpy Vulture, will bid you a good evening, and we will be seeing you again tomorrow evening. Take care, folks. Have a good evening. See ya.